back to our NCAA football win total series. We are moving on in the Big Ten, and we're on to Indiana. And really, Indiana has not been a great program overall. Kevin Wilson showed up in 2011 and really started building the program. 2015, he was 6-7 with a Pinstripe Bowl loss. 6-6 in 2016, and he was dismissed due to mistreatment of players. Ultimately, would end up the next season going to Ohio State and Urban Meyer and that crew. Tom Allen was the interim coach for the bowl game, lost the bowl. He went 5-7 the next 2 years, then 8-5 with a Gator Bowl loss, 6-2 in 2020, and a Outback Bowl loss. But then 2021, 2-10, 2022, 4-8, and that brings us to last year. They opened up with a loss against Ohio State. They would beat Indiana State, then lose to Louisville. It took them 4 overtimes to beat Akron. Then they lost at Maryland, lost at Michigan, Rutgers, at Penn State. They would end up beating Wisconsin. They lost in overtime to Illinois. And then they would lose to Michigan State and then Purdue on the road to end the year. The last 3 losses, all 4 points or less, and that cost Tom Allen his job. Tom Allen's gone. Curt Cignetti comes in. Curt Cignetti, known from good old James Madison University last year. First 2 years for him at the higher level of football, won FBS, 8-3 in 2022 and 11-1 last year for James Madison. And really, he brings a lot over from James Madison. He didn't bring his quarterback, though. They bring in Curtis Rourke from Ohio. He was fantastic, at Ohio. They also still have Travion Jackson around. Brendan Sorsby's off to Cincinnati, but Rourke was just great last year and should, with his size, passing ability, to be a star in this offense. They do bring in Elijah Surratt from JMU, 82 catches, 1,191 yards, 8 scores. Zach Horton's going to be the tight end at 26 catches, 8 touchdowns last year. Miles Price comes in from Texas Tech. And then we look at the running back situation. Traylon Howland's gone, but they bring in Wake Forest, Justice Ellison, and Killian Black from James Madison. The offensive line, there's going to be their centers back. One of their offensive tackles back. They bring in 2 guards from JMU, and they pull in Trey Wedig from Wisconsin to be one of the tackles. Indiana has a ton of homegrown young talent behind them. Really, on the defense, we are focusing on James Madison from last year. They were 5th in the nation against the run last year, number 1 in tackles for a loss. They were 6th in sacks, and they bring in guys from there. Indiana brings back Linnell Carr, one of the best pass rushers for the team last year, with 5 sacks. And they bring in Aiden Fisher from James Madison and Jalen Walker from James Madison. Those 2 will be that front core right there. James Carpenter comes in from James Madison. He's going to be with Mikhail Kamara, who had 7.5 sacks last year up front. At corner, they've got D'Angelo Pons. Pretty good, 51 tackles last year, 2 picks, 13 passes broke up. He's going to be on the other side from Old Dominion transfer Sean Ashbury. And then they'll have Jamari Sharp in at one of the corner spots and Amari Farrell able to fill in. Really, one of the major issues for last year was stopping the run for Indiana. I really think they fixed that with some of their big boys they brought in from JMU. And when we look at the schedule for James Madison, there's definitely some winnable games early, which is good for a team trying to gel that's brought in so many transfers. August 31st, they open at home against FIU. That will be a win, and Curt Cignetti starts 1-0. On September 7th, they get Western Illinois. I think that's a win as well. September 14th is their first road trip. They're at UCLA. I lean loss. I could see them picking that one up. September 21st, Charlotte at home. I think they get the win there. September 28th, they get Maryland. As long as they're stopping the run, I think they actually could win that game. I like them to win that game. And then October 5th, they're at Northwestern. I do lean loss there. And October 12th is their first bye. October 19th, at home, Nebraska. I lean loss. October 26th, Washington at home. I lean loss. Then they're on the road November 2nd, Michigan State. I like this matchup for Indiana. I'm going to give them a win there. November 9th, they have Michigan at home. I think that's a loss. Then they have the bye on November 16th. November 23rd, they're at Ohio State. That's going to be a loss. But then November 30th, to get to a bowl game, it's their rivals, Purdue. And I think they get the win in that one. Overall, there's a couple games in there that are real toss ups. You know, the over under set at 5.5 wins. I think they get FIU, Western Illinois, and Charlotte for sure. I lean heavy on that Michigan State as a fourth win, but they can win UCLA, Maryland, Northwestern, Nebraska, you know, Purdue, even Washington. They could definitely pull off some wins. I trust Curt Cignetti as a coach. I love Curtis Rourke. We're going to take the over 5.5. I have them at 6-6 and going to a bowl game. Over 5.5 is sitting at minus 135 right now on Bet365, and that's going to be our pick. If you like this content, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, follow us, and share it with your friends. We'll be back next time with Iowa.